truly, however, you are still wandering about on the path of death straight into a bottomless abyss full of incredible torment and deadly ruin, which is lying in wait for you in order to tear you into its blood-sopping claws and to crush you mercilessly. You must free yourself from your going astray, otherwise the bony claw-armed fist of your unintellect and your irrationality will snatch you from your life and cast you into the abyss of the all-ruining destruction. You still have a last true chance, which you can use, if you turn to everything that brings you further in the rational way, whereby the rational also demands that you become conscious of your responsibility and put an end to the increase of your overpopulation. You as a single human being of this earth must do everything conceivably possible, good and right, in order to be able to preserve yourself and humankind as a whole as well as nature and its fauna and flora from the tormentful end, which the cataclysmal events and occurrences are already giving evidence of at the present time and which will continue to turn out to be even worse in the time to come. Human being of Earth, you still have a really very last chance, which you, however, will have to seize now, because otherwise you will not be able to prevent the worst anymore. Now do not believe that all those false prophets and scientists are right, who play down everything and declare everything as completely natural with respect to the degenerating development of nature, of the climate and the false development regarding your consciousness and behavior. Consider that time doesn't stand still and that your devastating malicious machinations will therefore continue to proceed, if you do not finally consciously call a halt to them. If you do not do this, then it will be too late one unpleasant day and there will be wailing and gnashing of teeth, as it is written from time immemorial. And the old prophecies of the true prophets have proved to be true over thousands of years up to this new time, and this is exactly what they will do furthermore, but you can still avert much thereof, if you let your rationality and your intellect prevail and henceforth do the right things. Already for decades all kinds of natural catastrophes have disastrously increased, as have the degeneracies among human beings, and all this bears witness that the cataclysms cannot be stopped anymore, but can only be mitigated in their worst forms. But, human being of Earth, you must finally advance the evolution of your consciousness and take the responsibility into your own hands, instead of demanding it from a God or religion and from the belief in these, since help will never come from them, but solely from yourself. You yourself must direct your thoughts and feelings as well as your actions, doings and activities, because it is now a requirement. You as human being of Earth must learn to esteem the basic elements and components of nature and of life even though your consciousness is still limited, and to bring your own world of thoughts and feelings to react, in order not to furthermore destroy in your delusion myriad-fold life of nature and its fauna and flora, the climate of Earth and finally yourself. Therefore, human being of Earth, I raise my voice and shout out the well-appropriate warning and my demand, so that you may eventually awaken from your lethargy of disregarding the facts as well as from your destructive rage. It is a warning, which is based on the present events and on all those that have been appearing for a long time, which will carry further and further into the future to a terrible extent. I have already called in the past, but my calling has faded away in the desert of your irrationality and your unintellect. The time has already come at which the climatic conditions all over the world have starkly changed, for which you bear the blame, and enormous natural disasters are occurring, and this will also continuously have an effect in the future through extreme storms of all kinds. Everything has already escalated to such an extent that a vast number of human lives running into hundreds of thousands and into millions have been lost and will continue to be lost. Together with enormous destruction of all human achievements, also more and more diseases and epidemics will spread, which will take a heavy toll on the lives of your species, human being of Earth. All disaster will expand steadily further on. Destructions on mountains through rock slides due to the thawing of the permafrost will take place, and due to volcanic activity, large portions of mountains will be blasted away, which will rush down into the valley as mud flows, destroying everything, wiping out entire villages and cities and claiming a great many human lives. The glaciers and poles are melting on a worldwide scale, and also more and more deserts are forming. The world climate is warming up rapidly, and this leads to enormous climatic upheavals, which will bring more and more great heat waves and cold waves, conflagrations, droughts, inundations, snowstorms, hailstorms and tremendously powerful storms in its wake. Also earthquakes and seaquakes will occur with increasing frequency, as will enormous tsunamis in the oceans and lakes resulting therefrom. Thus, further devastating destruction of nature and of your achievements or eyes. And vast landscapes will be destroyed by natural disasters and due to the growth of the overpopulation, since you require more and more housing and living space. A great number of natural disasters and wars as well as machinations of sects and acts of Gewalt are increasingly leading to mass deaths of your species. Enormous material damage to land, houses and to various buildings, to streets, railway tracks, mountain torrents, creeks, rivers and lakes will arise. And as was frequently said in the past, more and more human lives will be lost through the climate-induced upheavals and thunderstorms as well as due to mass murders. For the rapid and increasing climate warming and climate change is not only changing the entire nature and the ocean currents, which will cause massive upheavals, but also your consciousness in a depraving way. Through this you, human being of Earth, will become more and more indifferent and without feelings towards yourself and towards your fellow human beings. Thus your good interpersonal relationships will also increasingly suffer from it and will become continuously rarer. The entire plant world and animal kingdom are also changing catastrophically, whereby a great number of mutations come into existence. Also among you, whereby above all else the overpopulation bears the blame for everything. This is indisputably the utmost evil on earth, because the further and the faster the population grows, the greater, more extensive and more insolvable all the problems become that result from it. As to that, there are degeneracies existing across the board, therefore in medicine, in the decreasing drinking water, in the depleting consumption of energy as well as in the steadily increasing worldwide, amply destroying and epidemics breeding mass terrorism, in terrorism, in wars as well as in other armed conflicts. The wars, instigated by your might-greedy and felonious miteful ones of state, won't come to an end, if you, human being of Earth, don't finally put a stop to all the felonious acts as an individual and as a mass of people. However, family tragedies also become more and more rampant, as do the many cases of killing by your psychically disturbed adolescents and also by older offenders, who are trying to solve their problems with a flight into murdering. However, the escalating problems are also multiplying due to the air pollution, water pollution and pollution of the environment as well as due to the growing crime and due to the felonies of Gewalt, as well as due to the general health, consciousness-related, physical weakening, which you have already fallen prey to for a long time and are increasingly falling prey to. Beneficial leisure activities also belong to the problems which can no longer be coped with, for instead of engaging in such an activity, you are only seeking crazy pleasure and idleness, or extreme and life-endangering sports, because you, human being of Earth, are not even able to appraise your own life as valuable anymore, let alone the one of the person next to you and the one of the fellow human being. Inevitably, you're hard-hearted and coarsened towards your fellow human beings, and nature as well as towards the fauna and flora also increases as a result of this. You, human being of Earth, are becoming increasingly predisposed to allergies and diseases, to epidemics and degeneracies of the sexual life, to psychic degeneracies, to depressions and suicides, to psychopathic and paranoid moods, from which murders and mass murders as well as maltreatments of fellow humans are resulting, which are increasingly being perpetrated by teenagers, because their whole education is failing completely in every respect. You are increasingly appearing as a chicken-hearted person, who is throwing his life away, because you have become incapable and afraid of bearing pain and misery and of ending your days through a natural death. And you have also become chicken-hearted with respect to helping those next to you and your fellow human beings, when they are being harassed or attacked by others, as you have also become chicken-hearted with regard to helping the aged and handicapped people. Human being of Earth, you are causing disaster for the planet and for all life on an unprecedented scale.